was attending an ECW annual meeting in California. Per usual, as part of this meeting, they had Eucharist. The reading during the Liturgy of the Word portion of that service was our reading here today. The bishop, who was giving the homily at that time, told the congregation she was not going to stand in front of a room full of Marthas and say that Mary had chosen the better path. In truth, though, Jesus was trying to teach Martha something, to open her, not to admonish her. We all have roles to play in life. Some of us are Marthas. Some of us are the doers of the world. The ones who make sure things are running smoothly. In Martha's world, it was the woman. It was her role to make sure that the house was running effectively and efficiently so that the men could do men things, whatever that is or was. And here we see her getting exasperated because she sees that she needs to do it all or it won't get done. And Mary is not helping her. Mary is not living out her assigned role in society. And Martha is paying for it. Well, Jesus asks Martha to join him too. Although not in so many words. Because it is important that she see that her tasks needn't be her sole focus in life. That she can be present as Mary is being present and soak up the presence of divinity in her midst. Relax, Martha, Jesus is saying. It will be all right. Right now, we're talking. The food in the house will be all right. You don't need to worry about it. Jesus is all the time telling us that we don't need to worry. Rather, we need to be present. God is right here. Right here. Right now. What is important will get done. Perhaps if we think and exist outside of our roles in life, we might look to ask others to help. And to ask those besides the Marys of the world. Maybe we ask the Peters and the James and even the Jesus of the world to help us in the work that we are to do that needs to be done. Jesus is all about upsetting our notions of what is or isn't to be done. Because if we continue to see the world around us in the same old way, then we will miss his message that the kingdom of God is in our midst. It's as if he's saying to Martha, nothing changes, Martha, if nothing changes. Look at Mary. She has changed her outlook and to see it as possible to access the world outside of her traditional female role. So can you. Now, I hear the cries of the people who actually do the work, especially those few around here who do everything. We actually do have a literal and a figurative Martha in this community. And to them I will say, it will get done. The work that needs to get done will get done. Worrying and stressing never actually accomplish the work that needs to get done ever. To those who toil, though, in the garden of the Lord, bless you and thank you. Also, stop sometimes and take a spiritual or emotional break. Join with God when you feel God present. That's the message from the gospel today. Now there are those too who find God in the work that they do. And to them, They are the Marys in this story. Some people can find the divine in work. This world is not one of absolutes. Do it this way or do it that way. God, through the loving words of Jesus, is not condemning those who look to comfort others, but reminds us to sometimes to try things outside of our own comfort zone. God exists where we sometimes least expect God to exist. And as the psalm says, be still and know that I am God. Sometimes that stillness comes from washing a dish or picking a weed. Sometimes that stillness can come in ironing a shirt or in balancing a spreadsheet. You can experience the love and peace of God in any moment. Never when you're worried. Stillness in heart and mind opens divinity's doorway. Be still and know that I am God. Now today, too, we have a lesson from Amos. God showing Amos and asking him to tell others about what happens when the fruits of the Spirit are taken for granted. What do you see before you, Amos? The fruits of summer, a basket of fruit. Look deeper, Amos. We didn't hear God say that, but God is saying that. We step into an us-centered existence versus a God-centered existence. This is what is going to happen. He outlines to Amos the ills of the society. And if we listen to the words with an open ear, we hear played out exactly the way we treat each other in today's society, where money is more important than faith. That's what the small ff and the large shekel means. We see too here in our church, when the number of butts in the pews is more important than the hearts of those who worship. When we're more concerned with the future of the church than with the present experience of God. Because the work of the Lord will get done. And it's hubris on our part to think that we are the only ones who can do it. And when we buy into that hubris, we often feel undone. But there's too much to do. Where are those who will help us? And we get resentful. And resentment is a quick way to preclude the love of Christ from bearing any fruit in your life. If you want sackcloth and ashes, just drink from the cup of resentment and bitterness. But Jesus doesn't want that for us. Jesus came into the world to save sinners. And by that, I never mean rescue the wicked. By that, I never mean save souls for some heavenly reward. No, I mean to show us a different way. A way to experience God's love and grace today. Or now. For out of the self comes the barriers to living rightly. The barriers to understanding. To working when needed and not working when needed. Out of that self-identity and self-importance precludes the wisdom to know when and what to do. To know when to do nothing. It's small steps that can lead us away from or towards God. On one side lies the prophecy of Amos, and on the other, the hope of Paul. So today, I say to you, come sit down, you Marthas of the world. God is in the house.